Another one of Mac just to mention here, and again, sort of getting down that real route, was the beach scene in Saving Private Ryan, which again is quite scary to know that guys went through that.
Yeah.
The part that always got it from me is the guy that bends over and picks up his own blown off arm. Yeah, that's probably that's pretty intense.
He's not sure what's going on, and it's like, is that my arm? Yeah, that's my arm. You know,
yeah, he's just so yeah, he's like shell shocked completely. He's like in shock, trauma, and just not thinking because it's such a bad,
But just
what's it?
Yeah, and then the one a little bit later where the guy's shoving the knife very slow. He's going shh.
No.
It's just it's so uncomfortable.
Do you know what he's saying to him? He's saying, "Just be still. It'll be over in a second. It'll be over." That's what he's saying to him.
Yeah.
In German.
In German, yeah. So freaking rough.
All the time in these movies, they always have the Germans as the bad guys.
I know it. It's so weird.
The scene that always the arm scene. Since you're taking that one from me, Sean, I'll have to pick another one. But the when he's like, they keep shifting the camera, but they're all leaning against the hill, and he says, "Call this the guy did," and he leans back and the camera keeps, and then finally they shift out, the guy's head is all caved in and exploded. Just like, oh well, shit! I get no point in talking to him anymore. They just have to keep going on. It's like, it's so horrific, you know?
Yeah.
And again, sorry, just looking at Matt's list, a couple of other movies we haven't mentioned. We haven't mentioned The Shining, but he's also got there as well the American Werewolf in London, the change scene.
I never found any. That never did. Nothing in that movie ever really scared me or made me feel.
Not even the double take on the sort of the dream sequence, because that was actually quite clever. How it was a dream sequence, but then that was a dream sequence.
I mean, it's entertaining, but it doesn't. It's like The Shining. The Shining. Nothing in it have I ever been like, ooh. Yeah, I don't know.
I think The Shining has been parodied so much that it doesn't have quite the punch that it used to.
Yeah, that is true.
There's some.
The little girls still get me when he's riding around and just the two little girls stood there. That's still freaky.
Yeah.
Well,
I always worry that there's going to be two little girls stood in the street somewhere, and if they just stand like that, I'm just going to punch them. Get back to hell, you demon spawn!
I don't think anybody parodied it better than The Simpsons when she goes up to the typewriter and it's like, this will be a window into his madness. Feeling fine. Okay. And then the lightning goes off. He's written all over the walls. No TV and no beer. Make Homer go crazy. Oh, this is less encouraging.
The best episodes of The Simpsons has always been the Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Yeah, that's when they're having the most fun.
Yeah, because
the ones in the 90s anyway.
Yeah, well, of course, you know.
The Nightmare on Elm Street, I would say the two scenes where the girl up against the ceiling, just being floated around, carved up in the bedroom. And I freak out when his arms are like really, really wide for some reason, at least the first time I saw it.
Coming directly from Robert Englund, he said that over the years, the people, he says, him with his arms out, touching the two, sides and the sparks going off. He's like, that's been the one scene that, out of everything, that people have always come up and told him that was the scariest thing. So you're not alone.
Him getting sucked into the
I think it's maybe kind of the idea of just engulfing, like there's no getting around him. He's going to. There's no. It gives you a sense of no escape, and I think that's why.
Yeah, you just know that it's impossible. There's just something. It just looks weird, and I think you're onto something there. But it's a combination of things why it works so well.
I saw the TV version where they dubbed him saying, "I caught a fish this big." That took the edge off.
And the funniest scene in the movie is turning Johnny Depp into a blood geyser.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the scene that got me in that one as a kid.
It was scary then. It just has a lot of humor now, I think.
Well, my personal favorite thing, the unintentional humor of that is when like he basically erupts him into a geyser of blood, and then the cops are there and they're like, oh, another suicide. It's like what
It's like that old joke. It's like the cops found the guy that nobody liked shot 17 times in the back of the head. It's like cops said worst case of suicide they ever saw.
Another one of those damn kids has got into that life-size blender again. Damn it!
Yeah.
Don't do
somehow.
He must have had
ate a grenade.
He had premarital. He must have had premarital sex, boys. This is what happened.
Like he took a lot of pills.
Yeah,
he's a fine red mist. What are you talking about?
That is a crazy. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is full of some really weird stuff too.
That's when they started to embrace the sort of kills and make them more fun and stuff.
No, I think you're confusing that with 3.
No,
yeah, 3 was the one where they basically I don't want to say Warriors, like saved the franchise, but really like brought about like much. It's kind of funny that like with Friday the 13th and then Nightmare on Elm Street, both part 3s are the ones that solidified what the series would be about moving forward. 3 with Friday the 13th was with the hockey mask and the brutal kills more so, and then with Nightmare on Elm Street 3, it was a little bit more of Freddy's humor, and it was like his powers and abilities, and they kind of laid him out a little bit more of what he could and couldn't do, and they followed that template with both of those, so it was just kind of odd that, and then Halloween 3, we had Season of the Witch, which which I adore.
Still good. It's still a good
I
movie.
adore it. I think it's
it
the
is
best
solid,
Halloween
but
after Halloween 1.
Yeah.
But it's just such a weird departure of the whole franchise. It was just
definitely didn't solidify the series.
Exactly.
No. Which is a shame, really, because I mean, the idea of masks killing kids off was a good idea.
It's a good movie though, man. It really
is.
It's
a very good movie.
Yeah,
I think it is a good movie.
If it was like now, it's kind of gotten the recognition it deserves. But back then, everybody hated it because I really think like if it came out and it was instead of Halloween 3, if it was simply called Season of the Witch, I know I'm not the first person to say this, but if it was Season of the Witch, I think it would have been appreciated all the way back then, as opposed to not really getting the appreciation until recent years.
Or maybe even Halloween 2, it might have gotten away with it.
Well, that was the whole intention, was that it was supposed to Halloween each year they were going to have a Halloween movie, and it was going to be it was going to basically be an anthology series. Michael Myers was really only supposed to be the boogeyman in one movie, but he was so popular that they were like, so that was why like if they had done Halloween 3 as Halloween 2 again, this series, we wouldn't have what we have today, and
could you imagine
better or worse?
If we'd had an anthology series franchise, man, how great that would have been. Trick or Treat kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the closest we've got to that is probably VHS.
Which spun
VHS ones.
VHS 2 is the one that spun off the that movie. What was it, Siren, or what is the name of that one, Cecil? Or the about the chick that steals the guy.
Yeah. Well, the first one. Well, it was God. Whatever the first one was, it was
Succubus.
Something. Yeah, it was the Succubus, and then they did the full movie Siren, which was actually really good.
I remember you were telling me about that when it first came out, because there's a famous castration scene in that where she just rips a dude's junk off, and I remember Cecil was like, "Oh, it's really good," and I said, "Dude, does it have that castration in it?" And he's like, "No." It's like, okay.
In that they didn't do it, but in the short, they oof. But I actually reached out to Hannah Fireberg, and was just like, hey, I was like, you really did an amazing job on that. I was like, 'cause she's so like, she's actually really pretty in like normal life, but like her and they made her up so like made her eyes look weird, and it like she plays it very, very childlike.
It's great.
But creepy. It's legit good. Yeah.
I'll tell you another good one that's underappreciated, and I think Cecil will agree with me on this, and I'm sorry that I've completely forgot the name of it. But the one where the three friends are trapped on the ski lift, and it goes.
Frozen.
Frozen.
Yeah.
Do you want to build a snowman? No, wait, that's not that one,
No, not that one.
See, so you said that the Nightmare on Elm Street and the Friday the 13th, they both solidified what they were in number 3. And I don't disagree with that, but I also feel like the first ones of those movies were legit scary. Once they solidified it, to me, they ceased to become scary, the subsequent ones, even though they had found the formula and everybody seemed to love it. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that they became more roller coasters as opposed to horror houses. So part 1 of both Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street are both legit scary. And then 2 is like the weird follow-up, but still good. I think Friday the 13th kind of does it better than Nightmare on Elm Street on part 2. And then 3, they found the formula. And I do think that each subsequent sequel does have scary moments in it, but not quite the dread of the original films. It's like, especially with the Nightmare on Elm Streets, where they kind of turned Freddy almost into a comedian. And he needed
a pedophile child killer comedian.
Yeah, exactly, a pedophile child killer comedian. But they needed a rim shot. After every one-liner. Whereas part of the beauty of that was just Jason was just silent, so he couldn't really, he just would stand there and would just mess somebody up. So
he becomes sort of like a superhero by part 5 or 6 anyway, which I like.
He basically becomes the indestructible spirit of vengeance, and just no matter what you do, you're not going to end him. And I kind of did like that, because it's like, all right, well, he is going to mess you up regardless, unless you shoot him with a freaking rocket launcher. And then we saw, with part 9, where they kind of went off the plan, they kind of went off with that.
What are you talking about? There's only 8 of them. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they stopped it. I don't know. Well, the 8 and then 10, I think is really great fan service. And then 11 with Freddy versus Jason was just, I think it was great, because that's kind of the thing we most likely will never get again, unless we keep getting all these conglomerated
especially companies. Since the remake from 2009 wasn't too bad considering. I didn't think.
I think they had their heart in the right place with the remake, but they didn't have the right director for it. Because
I really want to see a remake of Jason Takes Vancouver. Oh, I'm sorry, Manhattan.
Yeah, they had the name of that before they had their budget, unfortunately, and I still like Jason Takes Manhattan, but it is kind of a bummer that he's really only in it in New York for the one scene, and then everything else.
Most of it on a boat or something. It's been so long since I've seen it.
They spend more time going there than they do actually being there.
Yeah, they're on the boat for an hour, and then they're a little bit of time, and then I think they're really only in New York for one scene, and then everything else is Vancouver, and then it's but I mean it's only really maybe 20 minutes of actual him in quote unquote New York. So it's a bummer, but hey, they didn't have they got in trouble for the they had the Jason New York poster, which was awesome. Instead of the I Heart New York, they had the hockey mask coming through. So
Well, that was the summer. That was the summer of sequels. '89. That should have been a slam dunk if they had just, put them in Manhattan, let them carve up people. That's all you had to do.
Well, they didn't have the budget, because the shooting in New York is insane.
That's probably what it was. But it's like you had all those great sequels. It was that was a huge movie year. If you tanked that year, you were doing something pretty wrong.
Well, what was the other great sequels that year?
Indiana Jones, Last Crusade, Lethal Weapon 2.
Oh yeah, Lethal Weapon 2 did. He's black, but you're black.
What's your black? Free African now, you dumb son of a bitch.
You dumb son of a bitch.
Even Ghostbusters 2, I think, is a little underrated.
Oh, I love Ghostbusters too.
Ghostbusters
too. Yep. Yeah. Anybody that says it's a bad movie is dead to me.
I know it was the summer. Well, especially after what we've gotten since
Let me
then.
tell you, the best part of Ghostbusters 2 is when Bill Murray's there taking pictures of the paint. Show me angry. Show me, yeah, destroy me. That never fails to crack me up every. And then,
I like that.
And then Harold Ramis comes over and goes, "We need to talk."
I like that Bill Murray worked it out, so he's like never in the damn uniform, but he never has to get any slime on him or anything.
Yeah.
It's clear that somebody rewrote that contract.
I've got a theory that Dana's kid in the second one is the product between the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper getting it on in the first movie, and then she just doesn't want to admit that Rick Moranis is who knocked her up.
Thank you for watching this excerpt from Outpost Frequencies. Tune in live every Sunday at noon Central Time or 6 o'clock UK time. And also, remember to come to lastmovieoutpost.com for all your latest in movie news, streaming news, and everything cool about film. We are the cool news now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next stream.